Hi, I'm Carlos Marin, author of The Ultimate Success Formula, founder of the Unlimited Success Academy, and welcome back to another edition of Your Unlimited Life, a show dedicated to teaching you the mindset and strategies to empower you to live the unlimited life of success, wealth, freedom, and happiness that you deserve. Now, since we're going to take a journey together to help you find your true power, become free, and live that ideal life, I'd like to share my story with you so you can have more faith that you can achieve your dreams. By my story, you'll learn that if I can do it, you can do it too. My beginnings were nothing special. The fact is, I had a lot of turmoil in my life as a baby and a young child that impressed me with a lot of fear and doubt. Then, my adolescent years were pretty ordinary and anything but spectacular, and I arrived into young adulthood frustrated and confused as to the direction my life should take. My story should give you a lot of hope that you can overcome many obstacles and rise to whatever level you want in life. So, let's begin. I was born in Cuba, the day after Fidel Castro went into the Sierra Madre Mountains to begin the revolution. The mood in the country and in my family was one of fear and apprehension. My parents were so concerned about guerrilla fighting breaking out that they went to the hospital a day early. Castro took over the country in December of 1959 when I was 3 years old. Shortly thereafter, he started taking people's homes, their lands, and their belongings. In my parents' neighborhood, the military came to take one of their friends' houses, and when he refused, they shot him dead, point blank, right in front of his family. Now, think about all of the turmoil, the negativity, and violence that happened during the first years of my life. I was surrounded by uncertainty and fear as my parents tried to figure out what to do. Do we leave? Do we stay a little longer and see what happens? What's going to happen to us? What's going to happen to our children? They wound up staying for a year, expecting that the new communist regime would be short-lived, but once it looked like it was going to take a while, they decided the best thing to do was leave as soon as possible. Since my grandfather was a Spaniard, they got a visa to go to Spain very quickly. So my parents, my sisters, and I left everything behind and fled from Cuba with only the clothes we were wearing, one suitcase, and a $1,000 bill my father managed to smuggle out in the heel of his shoe. We began a new life in Spain, and then subsequently came to the United States a year later. Now, these experiences affected me negatively for years without my even realizing it. I was too young to understand dictatorships or communism, but I still had to leave everything behind, even people that I loved, and move to a strange place. My parents, of course, knew exactly what was happening. They saw all the wealth my grandfather had created over 50 years and the businesses that they had also worked for taken from them literally overnight. This sense of insecurity was pervasive in our household and became part of my consciousness, although I didn't fully realize how powerful this deep-seated fear of loss was until many years later. While those fears were a motive for my working hard and striving to get ahead in life, at the same time, they produced the sensation that somehow I would lose my wealth the same as my grandfather and my parents had. They believed and unknowingly taught me to also believe that no matter how hard you work or how much wealth you're able to accumulate, someone can come along and take it all from you. Now, fast forward to 1982. I was married, broke, and in debt. I owned a small insurance agency along with a partner and made about $30,000 a year. I rented a small apartment, but drove a BMW I couldn't afford so that I could give the impression of being successful. I was falling deeper and deeper into the hole with no idea how to turn my life around. I was smoking and drinking, frustrated and ready to give up on life. I absolutely hated my situation, and deep inside, I had this nagging sensation that there had to be more to life than the depressing conditions in which I was living. I felt that there was a reason that I was here on this earth, and I was determined to find out what that was. Due to my intense desire to change my circumstances, I met a successful businessman through a friend of my wife that showed me a lucrative network marketing opportunity. He also introduced me to some multi-millionaires who were mentoring him, who said they'd also teach me what they'd done to achieve their success and wealth. They became my first mentors, and they introduced me to a curriculum that I never knew existed, the universal principles of success and wealth. I was so excited about learning about these laws, which honestly, back then, I just viewed them as techniques, tricks, or strategies that created a shortcut to success. And I tried to get around these people just as much as I possibly could. I had such an insatiable hunger for knowledge that I started attending seminars every month that these people did, reading as many books on success as I possibly could find, and listening to audio tapes of these super successful people who were living examples of the power of these principles. I learned that success does not come about by accident or luck, as I'd been taught, but is the result of thinking and acting according to these principles. I also realized that this process could be learned by anyone. Now, it was challenging at first because due to my victim mentality and habitual focus on what was wrong in my life, I was still attracting unwanted results and experiences. I was still sometimes doubting if all this positive attitude stuff really worked because I was still struggling and I wasn't getting very good results consistently. It seemed like I'd take 2 steps forward and then 3 steps back, like something or someone was blocking my success. I finally came to understand that this someone or something was me. Me. I didn't realize that I was misusing the laws of success and suffering the consequences because my negative thinking and victim mentality was attracting exactly what I didn't want. But I didn't realize then that it was precisely because of the fact that I was focusing on what I didn't want or what I feared. The first moment of clarity came to me when I realized I could change my life, but I had to first change my consistent way of thinking. Willpower alone was not going to do it. I had to take complete responsibility and own my life, the good, the bad, and the ugly, and direct my thinking on purpose. To fully own my own life, I had to make some really important decisions. My partner in the insurance agency was not happy about my split focus between insurance and something else, and we were in conflict quite a bit. So I sold my part of the agency and I got out. At the same time, I wasn't making enough money in network marketing yet to support my family. So I had to do something else to make money. Fortunately, a friend of mine who was a successful mechanical engineer was starting an energy conservation and management business and asked me to be his partner in order to take care of the sales and marketing side of the business. While working in this new business, I stayed, however, plugged into the system, the training system in my network marketing business because the training and mentoring I was receiving on universal principles from these millionaires was the best available anywhere. Now, the good news is that I was applying all of the success principles I was learning to my energy business, and in the course of 3 years, I was making almost 3 times as much as I did in insurance. Now, I couldn't quit even if I wanted to. I had to stay plugged in to this success system and keep learning more and more. Then, in early 1986, after 3.5 years in my network marketing business, I attended a leadership seminar. The speaker told us how he had gone from the verge of bankruptcy to building a business worth millions of dollars, all in the space of 2.5 years. He shared a simple 4-step formula for success with us, and I really related to this guy because he was young, excited, confident, a little bit cocky even. He told us that the reason we were in the audience and he was on the stage is that we hadn't sold out to our dreams. He said we were walking around like we had many options to live the lifestyle that he had, and that we were wrong. He told us that when he got started, he didn't think he was as sharp as some of the other leaders, but he had a huge dream total commitment, and he believed he could outwork anybody. So he took his formula, this little simple 4-step formula, created a plan to do twice as much productive activity as was expected of him, and took massive action. And 29 months later, he was a millionaire. I realized that while I thought I was doing okay in my energy business, I had nowhere near the results that this guy had. I was trying to negotiate the price of success, and my lack of commitment was keeping me broke. You see, I wasn't satisfied with an $80,000 a year income, a company car, and a health insurance plan. I wanted more, much, much, much more. I wanted to be free. I wanted to be rich, to do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted, with whomever I wanted, for as long as I wanted, and do it all first class. And I decided right then and there that I was going to become a better student of success, apply the principles to my networking business, and use that formula to become a millionaire too. The original formula I learned that day was made up, as I said before, of 4 simple steps. Number 1, define your dream. Number 2, get a vehicle. Number 3, make a plan of action. And number 4, take massive action. Pretty simple. I made a total commitment to use this basic formula to become a millionaire in 2.5 years, just like my new mentor had. Now, during this process, I modeled the fastest growing leaders in my business, made huge strides within my company, and stayed focused on my dream all the time, taking massive action while acting as if I was already a millionaire. I also overcame a poor self-image and many beliefs that had been holding me back. Knowing the formula was one thing, but mastering myself was the key ingredient in my success. In 28 months, through continued study and practice of the principles, I mastered the formula. I made strategic business decisions, and I did it. I did in 28 months what I hadn't even begun to do in 3.5 years. I became a millionaire. The difference was that now I had taken full responsibility over my life and my results. I was totally sold out to producing the results I wanted. I was directing my own mind, beliefs, and thinking accurately and positively. I was following through on my plan of action and taking massive, consistent, productive action on that plan, all the while acting like I was already a millionaire. I used this basic formula to make millions of dollars and help many others make millions also. But it still had some holes in it. While it was a great recipe for achievement, it didn't address deeper issues due to emotional scars and psychological wounds that were deep-seated and ingrained at a very early age. And as you might have guessed from my story, that's a part of my story. I wound up losing many millions of dollars, which led to my much deeper study of the principles. And as devastating as it was at that time, this wound up being a huge blessing in disguise, which is how and why I created the ultimate success formula. But I will share that juicy part of the story with you on the next video, audio, and article. So until then, share this with everyone you care about so they can live their unlimited life, and let's make this your best year ever. Until next week, God bless and live your passion.